this plan. And this plan is carried out and it is highly specific. And military will be deployed in all areas of the Ambazonian, especially the area that is highly populated. And so the mission is to be strictly and eliminate all the boys and those of the mature girls that have some level of physicness. They have some physical fitness. So if you fall in that category, you will be part of that victim that La Republique is planning to eliminate in the Southern Cameroon territory. And so this plan execution by the high level of the military of La Republique in eliminating the Anglophone Southern speaking that are fighting for their own elimination, their own sovereignty. Remember that the Southern Cameroon has already declared their sovereignty and they are no longer taking any instruction from La Republique. And so in doing so, La Republique is planning to eliminate all the boys, especially those of high level, and that is why they were simple. They want the school to resume so as to enable them to target schools. And targeting schools where there is boys, a quite number of boys that will be attending. And so therefore they will immediately surround the school and pick up the boys and immediately execute it. There will be a disposable vehicle that will be immediately available, and that will be charged with dispose of the body that have been executed. And so because school has not been effectively as they had planned, and they are finding a difficulty because they believe that when the school resumes, it will give them, because that's where they could easily find the number of boys in that particular school. And so they immediately have some strategic military that will establish. Their essence is to immediately eliminate those bodies and immediately be trashed as soon as possible. And so this execution plan will be commanded by the Betis high-level military personnel to ensure that the effectiveness and the execution of the plan. The essence of having a Betis to ensure that the plan was executed as indicated. And the part B of that plan, was that they're going to have a 5-to-1 assignment. What does 5-to-1 assignment mean? A 5-to-1 assignment means in an army of 5 personnel, 1 will be an Anglophone and 4 will be Francophone. So a 5-to-1 plan, it means in a group of 5 personnel, they will have 4 Francophones and 1 an Anglophone. What that means, once there's a plan, after the suicide mission is complete, and the Anglophone whom they consider as a potential to release all the planned action that was executed, he will also be executed immediately right away and dispose the body. That is what 5-to-1 implies on the plan of La Republique in a suicide mission to the Southern Cameroon territory. So how can you, as the Southern Cameroon military, and that is why I have asked them to immediately leave La Republique. It is imperative that if you are an Anglophone speaking and you're currently serving in La Republique, I can assure you that your time may be narrow. Your time is narrow. So you will be eliminated. That is the plan. And that plan was planned within a high-level personnel of La Republique. And no Anglophone was member of the high-level plan. And so therefore, I am bringing this attention to the Anglo-Saxon or citizens of Federal Republic of Ambazonia that are currently serving in La Republique. And so if you have your relative that is serving in La Republique, I assure you that please make sure you have good contact with him and make sure that he leave the military of La Republique, because there is a plan execution on the way within the high level and highly classified information from the La Republique military. And that plan was secretly planned, and no one has been able to obtain the clear document of that plan, because they understand that this plan has been reviewed several times when they had such a meeting. So I therefore call on all the South Anglo-Saxon serving in La Republique. I have encouraged you, it's time to leave La Republique military. So if you have your relative, as I repeat, if you have your relative that is serving in La Republique, his or her days are numbered, because the planned suicide mission by the neighboring country La Republique to carry on in the Southern Cameroon territory. The mission is to eliminate the Southern Cameroon Ambazonian, especially the youth. And that is why they were so highly emphasized that school should resume. And so when school resumes, the target area will be the boys' dormitory. Because the boys' dormitory is where they have those boys that participate. That some may have the sympathy participating in this Ambazonian liberation movement. And so therefore, by targeting the school and arrive in that particular location as from 12 midnight. Once they arrive as from 12 midnight, the plan is to cut off electricity, eliminate electricity power supply to that particular area. And as soon as they eliminate the power supply of electricity, and that is when they carry on the suicide mission. There will be a special van that is highly decorated that will be in charge of eliminating the bodies that are being executed right away. And so that is the plan orchestrated by the high-level military of La Republique. And so therefore I am bringing this attention for fellow Ambazonian. This is imperative that we take this as a matter of urgency. It is imperative that we take this as a matter of urgency against the La Republique brutal regime. With respect to the Ambazonian, fellow brothers and sisters, we have reached a high level that La Republique is not a government that we can leave to function together. And I encourage you that we need to join the movement so that we can eradicate La Republique from the Southern Cameroon, and we need to have a government that represents us. Because in doing so, we can be able to build a lasting sovereignty of the people of Ambazonian. Later this afternoon, I talk about the Cobra Rose stages of dying. And that is why, after speaking about the urgent breaking news, I am going to talk about the Cobra Rose theory of dying. The Cobra Rose theory of dying describes 5 stages of dying. Many people will go through those sequences. We go through the 5 sequences of dying. And that includes denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. So Cobra Rose is an important theory that describes the 5 stages of dying. And those 5 stages of dying, and he just aligned them in the order of sequence: denial, anger, bargaining, and depression. Why is it important in this theory is important in the Federal Republic of Ambazonia? Well, it is clear. We, the citizens, after the past 56 years, we have acknowledged that we have been unable to live with La Republique. We have demonstrated and in clear terms how we can live with La Republique. And each of those terms they have failed in absolutely, and not to respect the minimum that we are willing to accept, and under leadership we can work together with La Republique. And we have come to the conclusion that we must unfreeze ourselves from La Republique, and by declaring our nations as a sovereign nation. We are not simply declaring, we simply restore, because it was already declared by the United Nations in the first on April 1961. So the United Nations declared the independence of the Federal Republic of Ambazonian in 1961. We have been cohabiting with La Republique for the past 56 years. And we have come to the conclusion that we cannot live with La Republique. And last October, our leadership has declared or restore our independence. And by restoring our independence, because that independence, we were cohabiting with a neighboring country, La Republique. And so by restoring, we are now no longer be part of La Republique. And we are making this statement clear. We are no longer part of La Republique. And so any citizens of Ambazonia that is attempting, speaking like if it's speaking on behalf of the Southern Cameroon in La Republique, you are making an error. You are making a mistake. So we will use every avenue, every aspect that we can, and to ensure that our independence is maintained. La Republique is in the stages of Cameroon stages of dying called denial. They have been in denial and in anger stages. They go in between denial and anger stages. In denial, they fail to recognize that we are now a nation. In the Cameroon stages of denial, they failed in absolute terms to acknowledge that by the 1st of last October that our sovereignty was declared, and that we and our restoration of our sovereignty, and that we will no longer honor any respect instruction coming from La Republique. And so because of that, La Republique is in the stages of denial. Because they're in the